Well, good morning and welcome back to CityLine. With me, as you saw on the wide shot, I have two what I think are very fabulous individuals, and they are Metro Parks Tacoma Rangers. So please join me in welcoming the beautiful Miss Mary Krauser. You indeed are a Tacoma Park Ranger. It says so on your shirt, and you have a patch to prove it.
Absolutely.
I love these outfits. Well, they're not outfits, they're uniforms. Uniforms, thank you. I didn't call them costumes, but they're fabulous. And the matching person next to you, Mr. Ben Monte Calvo, which is a cheese name, as we said. You are also a Metro Park Tacoma Ranger. Are there only two of you?
Yes, there are currently only two.
Wow, so you guys are the salt and pepper shakers of the Ranger program.
Yes.
There we go. I'm not going to ask who's salt and who's pepper because it does not matter. That's all there is to it. So, Mary, Park Rangers are a new feature for Metro Parks Tacoma. When did the program start and why?
Yes, so the Park Ranger program started just in 2016.
Wow.
I was actually the first ranger for Metro Parks Tacoma.
That means you're salt.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, Ben, you're pepper.
It's all right.
That's all right. I started in Point Defiance Park, really as an enhancement of the visitor services there in the park. So working in the visitor center and overseeing the staff there, and then also adding interpretive programs in the natural areas of Point Defiance Park, which were not previously available for our many users in the park. So I had the honor to be the first park ranger in the district, which was a really big honor and a really fun challenge. And I got to bring sort of, based on the state and national park ranger model, bring that to Metro Parks Tacoma. And what is so exciting is that just 2 years later, we've already added a second park ranger to the mix, and we are expanding our services beyond Point Defiance Park to serve the Ruston Waterfront parks as well.
Wow. So does that mean you'll be adding more park rangers?
Hopefully in the future. At this time, it'll be Ranger Ben and I sharing those service areas.
I love that. So, wow, Ranger Ben, welcome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So the program now has two. So how does that change what you're able to do?
Yeah, so I mean, we're able to cover a little bit more ground. As Mary mentioned, we are starting to expand the Ranger program down to the Ruston Way waterfront. And so that goes all the way from the up-and-coming Dune Peninsula Park all the way down to Chinese Reconciliation Park.
Wow.
So, and our goal soon is to get bikes to be able to patrol that long area. It's about 3 miles. And to be able to offer more visitor services. So educate visitors about the history of the park, as well as focus a little bit on code compliance. So making sure that people in the parks are just following the rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taking care of those parks, being respectful. I love that.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So you also are going to offer some preemptive programs such as the Intertidal walks and Tacoma walking waterfront.
Yeah. So coming in 2019, our hope is to be able to offer pop-up tours down on Ruston Way to educate folks both about Puget Sound and the marine life that lives in there, as well as the history of the Tacoma waterfront and kind of what's made it special throughout the years.
Oh, I would love that. I'm walking along, I'm new, or maybe I'm like just visiting and I run into you two and it's like, or just to one of you and go, hey, tell me what I'm looking at. That is impressive.
Absolutely.
That's fabulous. So there's new programs that you've brought to Point Defiance Park, Mary. Tell us what you recommend the viewers should check out and what other rangers currently offering, because Point Defiance is a jewel.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes a couple of days to really get through Point Defiance. So what should we not miss?
Yeah, so we do have a range of interpretive programs, so really aimed at connecting people to Point Defiance Park and helping them to understand how special it is to Tacoma, but also just as a park in general. It's a really impressive urban park to consider how much forest we have there still.
Yes.
And so I would definitely recommend checking out the Junior Ranger program, and there's no age limit on that, so anyone of any age can participate in
So
the
I could be a
Ranger
junior
program.
ranger.
Absolutely.
Do I get a uniform?
You get a pin.
Okay.
Your Junior Ranger pin when you're finished. And it's easy as just picking up a Junior Ranger booklet, completing some of the pages and getting your pin. But then we also have programs more focused on adults and families. So everything from nature walks to tree walks, bird walks, forest mindfulness classes. So there are lots of opportunities for people to learn more and get connected to the forest there in
Wow. Are these classes or these events open to Tacoma Public Schools?
Yes.
Wow, because that is such a beautiful add-on.
Yes, and we do provide programs for school groups who come on field trips to the park. We've kind of teamed up with Fort Nisqually as well, so the Living History Museum there in Point Defiance Park, which reenacts life in the 1850s. They have a lot of school groups come, and we partner up and kind of round out that day, that field trip day, so that students can get sort of both sides.
We just had Fort Nisqually on last week.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah, so those are our
a
colleagues.
cute little 8-year-old and her grandfather that were here as reenactors. And
Yes.
let me tell you, Fort Nisqually, the Williamsburg of the Pacific Northwest.
Of course, definitely.
Absolutely. So, Ben, you two are responsible for watching over a lot of park space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. How can visitors get involved in taking care of Point Defiance and other Metro Parks areas? Because these are our areas, and if you don't use them, you lose them.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, Mary and I help orchestrate a park watch program for the Point Defiance area. And we have currently about 39 volunteers, and we're always accepting new members. And the Point Defiance Park Watch is kind of focused on being our eyes and ears. So we can't be there 24/7. It's just impossible. So we really rely on these volunteers to walk the trail systems, bike the 5-mile drive, introduce themselves to visitors, and, you know, kind of help them find their way throughout the park, as well as remind them, you know, simple things like, you know, please keep your dog on a leash, and
Yes.
please don't feed the raccoons, and, you know, reminding them that all Tacoma parks
Don't
are...
pick the roses.
Yeah.
That's important as
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah. And, you know, reminding people that, like, all Tacoma parks are smoke-free. And so the Park Watch program is a great way to get involved if you're in love with Point Defiance. And Metro Parks also has a broader volunteer effort called the Chip-In program.
Yes.
And that is something, so if you want to do beach cleanups at Point Defiance, or if you want to just get involved in your neighborhood park and do stewardship events out there, we highly recommend folks getting involved in the Chip-In program.
Chicken program is amazing. It is just, I mean, Blueberry Park, what, I
Yes.
mean, it just has its roots, pardon the pun.
Yes.
These people, I mean, they can tell you what's invasive and what's not at a drop of a hat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Mary, if you had to pick one place for a visitor to go when they discovered Point Defiance, what would it be?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to cheat and give you two places.
Okay.
Because I absolutely have to recommend the trails in Point Defiance that go through our 500 acres of old growth forest.
Oh, yes.
Because on those trails, you can encounter trees that are, you know, around 400 or 500 years old. Which is just so special for an urban park, and is, you know, just a really great experience for visitors. It's, you know, it helps you to sort of relax and calm down and smell those trees and all that sort of thing. So definitely recommend a walk on the trails. And then also the other great asset, I think, of our park in Point Defiance for walking and hiking is the promenade that walks along the water.
Yes.
And I really personally love marine life, marine animals, and you can spot sea lions and harbor seals, the occasional orca, jellyfish, all sorts of things to see. And the paved promenade is really nice for folks who are using wheels and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a really beautiful feature in the park.
So before we say goodbye and I get some thank yous from both of you, Ben, what's your favorite spot in the park?
Well, so I'm a little bit new to the ranger
Just a
program, and I've been walking and, you know, kind of driving through the park for the last couple months, and I've really fallen in love with some of the viewpoints. So the Gig Harbor viewpoint is pretty fantastic.
Stellar.
And it has an old growth tree nearby that I see a lot of bald eagles perched on. So
Okay.
Really fantastic spot.
I would have to, find you and say, take me to that.
Absolutely.
Who do we need to thank for all of this fabulous community involvement and goodness, Ben?
Yeah, so again, I would like to send out a little thank you to our Park Watch folks. They have put in over 300 hours of
Wow.
volunteer service this summer alone. And also just the community of Tacoma, like for letting us serve you. Like this has been great.
All right. Mary, you want to add anything to that real quickly?
I would echo also thanks to our Park Watch volunteers who we work really close with, and encourage anyone else who's interested in getting involved to let us
There
know.
we go. Well, you two are just adorable.
Well, thank
so
you.
why would you not want to be a junior park ranger or be a part of your vision to keep our parks beautiful and thriving? So thank you so much for what you do and who you represent and who you lead. And I want you back here on the couch so we can do a check-in and another call for volunteers, especially as the season changes and we start to have more cleanup and more storms. We definitely want to hear from the two of you. So
Wonderful.
thank you so much for being here.
Love to come back.
All right, it's a date.
All right.
When we come back after just a little bit of musical chairs, we're going to have the Hilltop Artist Fair folks here to talk about what's happening in that event. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.